Listen, data analytics used to feel like solving a thousand piece puzzle without a picture on the box. I was frustrated, overwhelmed, and unsure of what to do for my next steps in the data space. But then I discovered 7 key things that totally flipped the script. And today I'm going to be sharing that with you. These things I discovered didn't necessarily make data easier, but it made things click. If you are struggling to make sense of it all, stick around. This might be the breakthrough you need. Number one, projects are the easiest way to feel job ready. You can spend months watching tutorials, reading blog posts, or downloading course after course, but none of it will actually prepare you for real work like doing a project will. When I worked on my first project, I realized how much I didn't know in the first place, despite the number of courses I had taken, made me feel like I was accomplished. From messy data sets to understanding stakeholder needs. But guess what? At the end of it all, I had practical experience and a new level of confidence as well. Your first project doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to teach you something. Now, speaking of starting, here is one truth no one tells you: there is no right tool to start with as a data analyst. Python, SQL, Tableau, Excel, R programming, everyone has an opinion on what tool is best to start with. But honestly, the best tool is the one that you are willing to pick and stick with. I, for instance, started learning Excel as a beginner because it felt less intimidating, and I later moved on to SQL when I needed to handle large data sets. You just have to stop overthinking and start doing. You will master more tools as you go. But here is the kicker: mastering tools is not even the most important skill. Your critical thinking is. If you can't think critically, no data tool you are learning today is going to save you. Data analytics is all about finding patterns, asking the right questions, and figuring out how to solve problems. For me, it all clicked when I worked on a mixed data set and realized that it wasn't about making it look perfect. It was about uncovering the why behind the numbers. Tools are just tools. It is critical thinking that gets you through the door. But here is something that might surprise you, because it's not all about dashboards. I used to think that being a great analyst was about making the flashiest of dashboards to show your stakeholders and have them very impressed about how you're able to put numbers together. But dashboards are just the final product of your entire data analysis. The real value is in what is happening behind the scenes, from data cleaning to analyzing and finding the why behind the numbers that you are even presenting in the first place. I once spent 3 days cleaning a data set and using about an hour to build a dashboard. That was when I learned that the real magic is before the visuals happen. Now, once you've nailed all of these 4 points, here is a game changer. Your portfolio is your business card. I can't tell you how many times recruiters have asked me for my portfolio instead of my CV. It's because a portfolio shows what you can do instead of what you say you can do. For me, uploading 2 projects on GitHub and sharing them on LinkedIn led me to job interviews I didn't even apply for. Think of your portfolio as a personal brand. It's how the world is able to know what exactly you are capable of. This next thing was what really flipped my entire perspective, which is that you would need to work on your people skills. When I first got into data, I thought to myself, this is perfect. I no longer need to deal with people, just numbers and data, and I was wrong. Data analytics might actually be the worst role for introverts. The reason I say this is because you will spend most of your time explaining insights, convincing stakeholders, and working in teams than you will building dashboards. For me, it was a reality check, but once I started improving my communication skills, everything else became smoother. Data always speaks, but only if you know how to tell its story. This final lesson, it was one that truly made the biggest difference for me, which was the fact that I couldn't do it all alone. I used to think that I had to figure out every single thing on my own, Google your way through, suffer in silence, and just push through. But I was wrong. Joining a community of analysts, asking questions, and connecting with people who have been where I am saved me a lot of time and frustration. That is LinkedIn, Slack groups, or online forums. finding your own people will take you much further than you will alone. So there you have it, 7 lessons that transformed my data journey. Some were tough to learn, but each one of them have able to get me to where I am at today.